In this demo, we'll start by creating a new Dataflow Gen2. Click on New, give it a name, let's say Test Copilot, and then hit Create. After a short moment, you'll be taken to a new screen. From there, click on New Query and select Enter Data. Now, simply paste in the data from your Excel file. Once you click OK, you'll be brought into the Power Query editor. This is where we'll start interacting with Copilot. To reshape the wide format data into a long format, we first need to remove any unnecessary rows. In this case, we'll use a prompt like, remove the first row and unpivot the data based on the category names. Although the wide format data was successfully reshaped into a long format, the result isn't quite in the expected format because one step was missing. So, let's undo the changes and slightly revise the prompt. In addition to removing the first row, we also need to promote headers. Let's add that instruction and run it again. This time, it looks like we've got the expected result. If we look at the category name column, we can see that it consists of two parts, a 4-digit category code and the category name itself. To extract these separately, we'll split the column. Impressively, even without explicitly telling it where to split, Copilot was smart enough to recognize the pattern and perform the split correctly. Now that the data is more or less cleaned up, let's try running two actions in a single prompt. We'll assign data types to all the columns and also rename the value column to amount. Let's wait a moment for the results to come back. Simple prompts tend to be more successful, and in this case, we can confirm that the operation worked. The date column has been formatted as a date, and the numbers in the amount column are right-aligned. Next, when we examine the contents of the category code, we can see that the total item has been included due to the unpivot operation. The total comes from Excel's pivot table, but since totals aren't needed in the analysis data, we'll exclude it and send a prompt to change the category code's data type to numeric. Let's see how the result turns out. If successful, the category code will be converted to a numeric type and displayed right-aligned, and you'll also see that the total entry has been excluded. Next, we proceed to remove null values from the amount column, but by mistake, the prompt is applied to the original value column name before it was renamed. At the same time, we add a new flag column called type and fill it with the text sales. Since the column name is incorrect, we expect this process to fail or produce unexpected results. However, let's wait and see what actually happens next. Just to be sure, let's verify that there are null values present in the amount column. Surprisingly, even though the column name was specified incorrectly, Copilot handled it smartly. Since we have completed many processing steps so far, next, let's try issuing a prompt to document each step. This will add clear descriptions to every step processed up to this point, and by clicking Add to Query, you can hover your cursor next to each step to see a helpful pop-up explanation. Additionally, by pressing Ctrl+Shift+M to open the advanced editor, you can confirm that these descriptions have been properly added as comments for easier understanding and maintenance. As of May 2025, Copilot for Dataflow Gen2 is still unable to rename query names based on prompts, so the name of the generated query must be changed manually by the user. Here, we rename it to Sales. After that, we will prompt Copilot to create a new query that generates a pivot table by grouping the category and amount columns and calculating their totals, enabling further data aggregation and analysis. A new query has been generated. In the same way, rename the query to Category Sales. From here, I'd like to try a slightly unusual process. While it's not commonly done in typical data analysis, we will calculate the total sum of amounts across all categories and add one row to the category column labeled Total. This process requires writing custom code and cannot be achieved using the standard user interface alone, so it's a bit more advanced than usual and demonstrates some powerful customization capabilities. As you can see, the total row has been successfully added. Now, let's try the same steps not only with the sales query but also with a query called gross profit. First, duplicate the existing query and rename it to gross profit. Next, double-click the first step of the duplicated query to open it. Then copy and paste the gross profit data from Excel into the editor. After pasting the data, click OK to proceed. Dataflow Gen2 uses Power Query technology, and since Power Query records and reuses processing steps, changes to the gross profit query require minimal effort. Just change the type column from Sales to Gross Profit, and you're done. Here, to create the gross profit by category, I retrieve the prompt I used before, and with the gross profit query selected, I submit it once again to Copilot. Then, similarly, the category gross profit query was generated. Let's rename it, then locate the query used when adding the total row in the category sales query, and based on that, submit a prompt to execute the process. After a short while, you can clearly confirm that the total row has been correctly inserted into the data. This means we have completed almost all of the processing steps successfully. As the final step, let's try appending the gross profit query below the existing sales query. For this operation, we use the keyword append. While it might not be a very common term in Japanese, you can easily find this function within the user interface under the combine icon. This allows you to merge queries vertically by stacking their rows. When the process completes successfully, you can confirm that gross profit has been added in the type column. Thank you for watching.